Hi there guys, today we're going to look at how we can add and subtract fractions, but this time algebraic fractions, everyone's favourites. Now, nothing to fear with these, especially if you can do something as simple as this. Now, this is the sort of mathematics we're teaching in primary school these days, and this is the only mathematics you need to be able to do to answer this GCSE question. So how would you go about solving this blue one? Well, hopefully you're thinking, okay, let's make the denominators 20 because that's the lowest common multiple. So we're going to do exactly the same here, but this time the lowest common multiple is 12. Now what would you do? Let's go back to this easy primary school mathematics question. So, well, I have to form an equivalent fraction, so I need to times this one by 4 to get to 20, so let's times the numerator by 4, and 1/5 is equivalent to 4 over 20. So we're not changing the size of the question, we're just rewriting it. And the one on the right here, I need to times this one by 5. So again, that is 3/4, just an equivalent way of writing it. Let's just finish this one off. So hopefully you know that you add the tops and the bottoms stay the same. I'm not going to tell you why that happens, we've discussed that hopefully for years up to this point, but you should know how to get to the answer. Well, let's do exactly the same thing here. Let's times this one by 4. So we have 4 lots of 5x plus 2. Put the plus in the middle because it's a plus. And let's times this one by 3 because we need to make a 12 denominator. So we're going to have 3 lots of x plus 1. Now, essentially from here to here, what's actually happening is we're doing that, aren't we? We're adding the tops and then we're getting to the 19 over 20, but we don't write this stage because we're pretty good at adding. But this bit is less comfortable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the tops. So I'm just going to write them again, but this time I'm going to add the tops together, basically put them together. I already did that line, don't know why I did it twice. And the denominator stayed the same. So hopefully when you see that, your brain's taking over now. It's like, I need to expand those brackets. So we're going to have 20x plus 8 plus 3x plus 3 all over 12. And that gives us 23x plus 11 all over 12. There are different ways we could have approached this, but I think this is the most sensible. There's the least amount of risk associated with what I've just shown you, especially when it's a negative. Subtraction always throws up some issues, especially when this is a subtraction as well. Lots of people get caught out with the negative rules here. So let's take it super easy, super slow. Lowest common multiple, 20. To make an equivalent fraction, this one we need to multiply it by 4. So we're going to have 4 lots of 3x minus 2. Pop your subtraction sign. To make the 20, we need to times this one by 5. So we have 5 lots of 2x minus 1. I might just do this question in a different way and I'll show you why people go wrong. But don't think you're good enough to skip this step just yet. So 4 lots of 3x minus 2 minus 5 lots of 2x minus 1. I'm literally just putting them together. Now I'm going to expand. The first bit's, no one ever gets this bit wrong. Then it gets hard. So minus 10x. This bit's actually going to be a plus 5. Lots of people have minus 5 on their answers there. Over 20. Okay, so let's collect like terms. 12x take away 10x, we have 2x. Sorry, the software's being a bit funny. So we have 2x. And minus 8 plus 5 is minus 3 over 20. Okay, there we have it. So let me show you what people do differently here. So the first one, a lot of people say, just times that by 4. So they go, right, 12x minus 8 over 20. And we times this one by 5, so they go 10x minus 5 over 20. Now, that's fine, but what they just do, they do 12x take away 10x, which they get right, but they do minus 8 minus 5. Remember, it's minus 8 minus minus 5. When it's written like this, people tend not to make the error. When it's written like this, loads of people make the error. So it's up to you. I personally actually do this one, but I've done this for years, so I make less mistakes. But that is safer. Up to you. Okay, but they're still the easy ones, because now what we're going to do is put the x's as the denominator. This is the ones you have to get really good at. The most likely type of questions to come up. Alright, so, well, how did we find lowest common multiples? We just knew them probably. But if in doubt, you can always get one by multiplying together. I wouldn't always do that. For example, if these were my denominators, I wouldn't go for 108. I'd go for 36. That's the lowest common multiple. But with these, we're in a little bit of math land here, so I am just going to multiply them together because it will always guarantee a multiple. So if we multiply these two together, I have x lots of x plus 1. X lots of x plus 1. So we have to do exactly the same as before. We have to form our equivalent fractions. Well, what have I times this one by? I've times this one by x plus 1. So I'm going to have 2 lots of x plus 1. This one was just multiplied by an x. So I'm going to have 3x. Pop them together. 2 lots of x plus 1 plus 3x all over x lots of x plus 1. Expand. 2x plus 2 plus 3x over x lots of x plus 1. You notice I didn't bother expanding the denominator because I'd only be writing equivalent steps, so it's not actually very useful to do that. So 5x plus 2 all over x bracket x plus 1. Another reason why I wouldn't advise you to expand the denominator, one, you don't have to, but two, sometimes the numerator here actually factorizes and it often cancels out with this one, so don't expand, otherwise you'll miss that little trick sometimes. Okay, let's have a look at another. I think I've got a couple more. Oh, one with subtraction, be warned. Okay, this is definitely harder this time, so we're going to multiply both of these together, so I need some longer lines here. So we've got x plus 2, x minus 1. I'm going to write it exactly the same this way around. I could have written x minus 1, x plus 2, but I think that's just going to look confusing. Pop your minus in. Okay, so we're timesing this one by x minus 1, so we'd have 4 lots of x minus 1. We're timesing this one here by x plus 2, so we have 3 lots of x plus 2. Now, don't be thinking, oh look, I could cancel these off. Yeah, you could. You could divide top and bottom by x minus 1, but you just go back to the question. But that's a nice way of checking that you've got your equivalent fractions correctly. Same way here. I could divide top and bottom by x plus 2, but I'd go back to the question, so you don't want to do that. Okay, so let's keep the denominators the same. So x plus 2, x minus 1. And let's put these together because it's just too risky, I think. So let's go 4x minus 1 minus 3 lots of x plus 2. I see too many people writing a plus 2 here when you'll see in a minute it's a plus 6, but you'll see in a minute it's a minus 6. Okay, expand. So we have 4x minus 4 minus 3x minus 6 when we expand. Okay. All over x plus 2, x minus 1. Oh, it's a pen. Keep the denominators and just collect the like terms. So we have 4x take away 3x, 1x minus 4, take away another 6, minus 10. Now I see a lot of people that think they're good at this, they skip steps, they get things wrong. What I'm showing you is a safe way, so please adopt it. Last one. So again, I'm just going to multiply them together to make the lowest common multiple. Sorry, it's not the lowest, it's a common multiple. Could be the lowest, but not sure. Okay, so we know what the denominators are going to be. We have to form the equivalent fractions. So this one on the left we're timesing by x minus 5. You could think about it, but we're cross multiplying, but I'm not a fan of that technique. This one we have to multiply by this denominator, so 3x minus 1. Okay, again, if you cancel these off, you'll see that you go back to the original question. So don't do that. Put your minus in there. So we've got 5 lots of x minus 5, so we're just putting them together like we did before in the previous 4. And just keep that denominator the same. Expand. So 5x minus 25. Be careful with the double negatives. Minus 6x plus 2. Oh! Write the denominator. Lots of writing the same things over and over again. Okay, now 5x take away 6x is minus x. We don't really like starting with a negative. So let's have a look. But that's also going to be a negative here, so let's just do it. So we've got minus x minus 23 all over 3x minus 1 x minus 5, and we are finished there. Okay, best of luck everyone. Go and practice.